Hi, I really been doing some deep reflecting and research of my own. I wanted to take a moment just to tell you who I am. So I'm Brittany. I teach in Canada. I teach kindergarten. I started off my journey as a special education resource teacher in a private school. And then I was a literacy coach. So I had about 13 classrooms from kindergarten grade 1 where I teamed up with teachers and helped them build a literacy program. Then I taught grade 1, 2, and then grade 1, and then kindergarten. I've been on and off mat leave. Had my own story, fertility journey with some lots of struggles, lots of losses, critical care leaves, and bed rests, and all that. But I have 4 wonderful children. They are 7, 6, 3, and 1. And the last few months, I have had the pleasure of starting this love for learning journey. And the biggest piece to it all is the connections and the listening. And really, I mean, I've probably had almost 1,000 conversations in the last 2 months with people all over the world, in all different realms of life. Some of them were trauma coaches, child psychologists, professors in early childhood, curriculum development, coaches in wellness and different subject areas, parents, families, business owners, so many people I've been so fortunate to meet and super, super appreciative for so much I've learned. The reason for this is really just to take a step back, mostly for educators, because we don't know what next year is going to look like. Right? We can speculate and, there's possibilities. There's going to be some kids in the classroom, some without, staggered days and all of that. But for me, I think the key is what can we take from this? And how can we bridge the gap and make it so that the world's actually better than what it was? And so for me, there are a few big concepts that are really important. The big piece, number 1, kindness. Kindness before anything. And not just to say it, but to actually show it in everything you do. So it could be, greeting every single child, every single person you meet with a good morning, talking, getting to know them, playing with them, sharing your thoughts. Connection's huge, and that's just a small way. We can go into that later. Wellness. Wellness is second and probably first. And what does that look like? Because a lot of people have a different perspective on that. And wellness to me is huge, especially that we're all dealing with this trauma in different ways. And to be honest, wellness doesn't have to be, it can be anything that calms you. Some people find being outside. Some people find art, music. Finding a moment where you're just doing that and nothing else. And, it could be games like I hear with my little ear while you're listening for things and guessing. Your mind's focused just on one element. So that's huge, 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 huge. And building strategies around it, like breathing. Okay, if you like Mario, do Mario breathing. If the kids like, Elsa, do Elsa breathing. Find something that they connect with, but that helps them build that tools. The other piece, too, is really finding those, moments, the open-ended activities where, they have an imagination. It's not built in a yes and no or one way or the other. It's, could you do this? What else could you do? Explain it, share it, embrace it, teach others. Open-ended play, there's no batteries involved. The imagination comes from the kids. And wherever they are is fabulous, and expand on that. So open-endedness, we talked about kindness, wellness, open-endedness. Outdoor education is the same playing field for everybody, and it's such a great opportunity to differentiate when you're outside. Right? There could be kids working on gross motor activities, and then you got your sidewalk chalk and you're doing 10 frames, or you're doing let's make your name. So, again, this focuses more on the early years, but they can make their own word search. They can do so much, even just with sidewalk chalk. But being outside, you can learn so much life skills from looking at the sky and determining what the day is going to look like, or appreciating earth and really looking at the true beauty. You can sketch it, you can talk about it, you can learn more. Nature is the best teacher, and that is a huge piece, because also it's teaching them kindness for earth and what we do and everybody in it. So it's huge, absolutely huge. The other piece is it needs to be practical. Life needs to make sense. And it's an opportunity to make those connections. So if you have kids at home, or parents that are working, or parents that are having their own struggles with job loss or whatever, lots of things, it needs to be able to be something that they can do. And so the practical piece could be like, really, you want to build, the hands-on stuff like the STEM building, all that kind of stuff. But reading, writing, and math is key, right? In number sense, that's just the basis of all math. So when you look at reading, it's about what can they read? Where can they read? How do they read today? That can be the simplest thing you start with and expand on where they are. But also with reading, it's, the joy. It's everywhere. It's in signs. It's in menus. And that, I think, is a big piece because, it's in everybody's house. And if they want to just dive into all the menus and order food and play with that, there's so much learning just in that. And so really, really embracing it. Same with writing. Writing is the same thing. Teaching those different genres about writing a card to someone or putting a message in a bottle and leaving it on someone's doorstep. This is collaborating with both kindness and with the art of, there's art in it, but also the art of sharing that joy. And then with math, it's number sense. It's number sense in the sense that you're teaching them the powerful tools to build on what they know. So for number sense, like you want to teach them references to 5s and 10s so that they can understand that, okay, 6 plus 5 is 11 because I know 5 plus 5 is 10 and I add one more. You want them to build that capacity to think in that terms. So, when you're using money, making your own stores, only start with nickels and dimes and build up from there. Or use the 10 frames. Talk about, you can count by 2s by looking at the thermometer of your pool or outside. There's so many practical ways to really involve that, and I think that needs to be the way we move forward because this is something that we can all connect with. It's life skills, and it's something that is going to make a difference in the way we view the world. It's also changing our perspectives. So I think that because of everything that's happening in the world, it's a moment in time where we really need to stop and reflect on how we do things, but also what are the big concepts that drive home that we can all connect with. And, really just having those conversations and keep that conversation, and keep it flowing so that when we do, run into challenges, we have each other to bounce those ideas off, and better never stops. So I really hope that this was helpful in the way that you move forward. And I really think that we connect together, we can make changes. If you ever have any questions or challenges or struggles, I can help you navigate that too. I can help I can direct you in ways that other people might be able to help. But for me, this is a very defining moment in our life where we can make huge changes and make the difference in the life of a child.